We interrupt your Christmas Day Harry Potter-thon to bring you some motherfucking wrestling, folks.
Hang on to your holiday cookies. This is NXT. This episode of What's NXT brought to you by Coca-Cola Classic. Tastes like polar bears.
Do the Coke. I mean, enjoy.
Tastes like polar bears in Santa sweat.
Support, no DQ.
Welcome, everybody, to What's NXT for December 25th. Yes, Christmas Day 2019. I'm your host, the Rated R reviewer, Stefan Osborne, joined as always by the General Jerry Slaughter.
Ho, 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 wrestling fans.
Well, this evening we got to watch the show and do the review right after the show. That's
so
not
nice,
normal.
So it's nice and fresh and we're actually awake.
Yeah, and it's evening instead of morning. It's all crazy this week, but that's what happens around the holidays. Everything gets crazy. We start off the show a little crazy. An open challenge.
Yeah.
They called this the North American Championship Challenge. Honestly, I didn't know we were going to get coming into this. I was like, well, it looks like Roderick Strong's going to defend the title, some form or fashion. In this case, it sort of was an open challenge. But it also could have been a number of other things. It could have been a chance for a bunch of other people to get a number one contendership spot.
It could have easily been a regular match, triple threat match, fatal four-way match, ladder match. It could have been anything.
Could have been just about anything. I kind of envisioned Roderick Strong sitting up in that perch that they built for Full Sail, watching a match to see who he faces, let's say, in 2 or 3 weeks' time.
Or not even that, like maybe a battle royal, and then like immediately following it would have been like the match. Well,
in this case, we got Roderick Strong on the microphone backstage just before coming out, and he says, "Someone's gonna get a season's beating right now, right now," and he comes out first, and then out comes Austin Theory. Now, I didn't know who the fuck this guy was, but you did.
Yes, former Evolve champion, just like he got signed to NXT not too long ago. Looks like he didn't have to change his name, so that's pretty badass.
That's good, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
It doesn't. Name value really doesn't mean much if nobody really knows your name.
I guess if they know him. But still, there's been guys that have come in with names that we've known that they've still changed their name after coming into NXT. I think it's a crapshoot sometimes. But in this case, what a good fight by Austin Theory.
Oh, yes.
Obviously, he wasn't going to win.
Oh,
it's
God,
a
no.
Fucking match.
First match there, but he was there to prove something, and he did.
Yeah, he did some shit. I got a lot of notes. What did you think about the match overall?
I was excited because I'd heard a lot about Austin Theory. I've read a lot about him, and I've always seen clips and stuff of his matches. So actually watching him against somebody at the caliber of Roderick Strong and to hold his own like that, like he's super charismatic for one, and two, like he just went almost hold for it with him, and they actually mentioned it on commentary that he actually won the Evolve Championship again in a match against Roderick Strong and one of our favorite boys, Fabian Eichner.
Yeah, the motto or the creed of Austin Theory is all day.
Yeah, all day.
And they say, that's the stamina that this guy's got. And I'm like, how apropos that he's facing Roderick Strong, who's essentially the marathon runner of the Undisputed Era.
Oh, yeah. He's unstoppable.
If it's not O'Reilly, it's definitely him. O'Reilly's more like the guy that can take all the beating.
O'Reilly absorbs so much punishment in any match that they're in, especially any ladder matches. Good grief.
Let's see, my first note is an Olympic slam by Strong, and you think, but Stefan, he does that all the time. I thought you didn't take those kind of notes. Well, this was an Olympic slam into the fucking ring post. This was outside. Like, he lands him square on the ring post. I don't know how the fuck he did that, but whatever. He leaves him out there, though, and Of course, the ref counts to 9, and at 9, that's when he gets his second win and just bleeps into the fucking ring to beat the 10 count, but whatever, the match keeps going.
It was a slow crawl to that ring, but all of a sudden he heard 9, and all of a sudden, okay, he's in the ring.
Well, he gets back in the ring, and somehow he gets some more stamina going, and he tries for this, where he slingshots in and does the roll from the apron into, I guess he normally does a drop kick, but it looked like he was going for a flatliner.
It looked like he was going for pay dirt.
But instead he gets grabbed up, and Roderick Strong just holds him there for a second to assert dominance, definitely, and then drops him with the backbreaker. Of course, the Messiah, he's got to do at least one. He does another one later. Oh, my God. So Theory hits that slingshot stomp. Okay, so he comes off the apron over the top into a slingshot and then stomps. And it's not like one of those double stomps where they roll off. He lands it and stops because it's a single stomp and he can catch his foot and it looks devastating.
Yes.
And then grabs his arms, holds on, pulls him up into a deadlift. I think he was going for a suplex, but then Strong reverses it and picks him up into a fisherman buster.
Yes.
Near fall. He hits a standing blockbuster. Actually, it was kind of a running blockbuster. And he might have slingshot into it, but...
It was still impressive.
Yeah, Austin Theory, man. This running blockbuster for a near fall. And then hits a buckle bomb and a pretzel leg neck breaker. So it's kind of like the Ushigoroshi, but with the legs all tied up.
I didn't really understand why the leg got hooked.
That's like his thing, apparently.
But that's fine by me.
And then Strong hits a superplex off the top rope, and he goes to roll through it into another suplex, but that's where Theory counters that and hits a backbreaker onto... Oh, wait. Yeah, a Burning Hammer, Blue Thunder.
Yeah.
That's where my note's at. Okay. So he reverses out of that, picks him up into a Burning Hammer, and then throws him around into a Blue Thunder bomb.
Yep, that was just sick looking.
Gets a near fall. And then Strong follows him up to he follows Strong up to the top rope. He's over on the apron side, but then Strong picks him up and hits a backbreaker over the top turnbuckle. And you wouldn't think that would look devastating because it's like a 9-inch fall, but somehow it did. It was crazy. And then Theory hits another cross-legged suplex, but this time it's on the apron, and we thought this was going to be close. He rolls him back in the ring, and he gets the closest near fall he's gotten. I think that's the last
I was about to say,
fall.
Roderick Strong even did the finger check on that one.
Yeah, but then it is now time for the breakdown. They both get up, they start slugging it out. Eventually, Roderick Strong gets the upper hand. He goes for a high knee, and Theory kicks his leg out from under him, but then Theory goes for something, and he ends up hitting the high knee, and then pulls him into End of Heartache.
Yep.
But doesn't go for the pinfall. Instead, he rolls him over with the Lion Tamer, which he calls
the Stronghold.
The Stronghold, and he gets a tap out.
But I like the fact that it's actually like we actually say Lion Tamer or Stronghold versus like a Boston Crab. Because that move looks so much more devastating when it's in Lion Tamer mode.
Yeah, when you got
especially with all the damage that was done on the back throughout the match.
So we didn't mention it earlier, but we started the show off proper with Pat McAfee, Kathy Kelly, and Sam Roberts that are in a studio somewhere, and they're riffing to Motorhead. So we've got Motorhead, and so it was Lemmy.
It was Lemmy Kilmister, Billy Gibbons, and Dave Grohl.
All doing a version of Run Run Rudolph.
Yep.
And that was cool. So we're back on them, and from there they send us, instead of going to Full Sail where we had Roderick Strong versus Austin Aries, they send us
to the Barclays Center.
Yeah, in Brooklyn. So instead of having 205 live after SmackDown on Friday, they taped 3 NXT matches. Yes, 3 of them. We get 6 matches for this whole show. We went into the show knowing of 2. The tag team match that ends up being our main event, and the match that started the show, the Roderick Strong North American Championship Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going into Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Jack Gallagher. Now this was a 50-50 match.
Yeah.
The first half of it was fucking slow and awful.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Second part really picked up the pace, so but that's what most Jack Gallagher matches is the fact that you have all that catches can, European style, very slow moving, very methodical wrestling, and then towards the end there they just gave into I don't give a fuck mode and just started beating the hell out of each other, and that was nice.
Yeah, let's see. I've got Jack Gallagher starts working over Scott's left arm right before the commercial break. Like, we went through the entire first part of this match up till the commercial break, with nothing much happening at all.
I was about to say, we got 33 or 34 minutes into the show without a commercial, so that was pretty nice.
That is cool. But Gallagher throws him shoulder first into the turnbuckle, and that's where he starts working over his arm during the break. At one point, he catches him coming off the top rope in an arm bar.
Yeah.
Which was really devastating.
Exclamation point.
Yeah, exclamation point. Let's see, Jack catches a rolling flatliner. That's that move that Scott does that I thought we were going to get in the previous match, where he jumps from the apron, rolls through the middle and top ropes,
yep,
and then jumps up for the flatliner. Only gets a near fall off it, though. And then hits Gallagher with something. Might have been a super kick or something, but Jack Gallagher comes off the ropes with a jawbreaker, only to end it with a headbutt, a sick headbutt. And
completely put his hair out of place.
Falls right into the pin, gets a near fall. But in the end, Swerve rolls him over into. When we had seen this move before, it was a version of the Perry Saturn's Rings of Saturn.
Yeah.
But then grabs the arm up and stands up instead of getting down into an actual Rings of Saturn. Steps on his arm, about elbow area, and smashes it down.
Any angle that you put that camera in, it was going to look like it hurt like hell.
And then Gallagher sits up, and Swerve comes off the ropes with that house party, that sick
the
side
house call.
House call, there you go.
Yep.
That side kick that he does to the side of Jack's head and gets the pinfall.
And then you have like Gallagher sitting outside the match or the ring at the end, just seething.
Yeah, he is pissed.
Yep.
So
it would shock me if he goes right back into NXT UK and just stays there.
Heel turn for Gentleman Jack confirmed.
Yes.
We move back to Full Sail University. We are now on to Candice LeRae and Tainara, whatever her name is.
I'm all about Tainara.
She's fucking hot.
She's great.
She's got an amazing butt. And very observable camel toe in this match, but you can see that for yourself. I actually enjoyed this match. Tainara, she doesn't have a lot of signature anything other than that sort of running knee that she does to an opponent that's hung up in the ropes.
Yeah.
But she's able to keep up with Candice LeRae here, who's obviously a seasoned veteran, and for that I'll give her credit. Otherwise, she looks about as vanilla as they come.
Yeah. She's just now working on her persona and everything, which is great. But I think with most wrestlers coming into NXT, you have to really have a moveset set before you actually start doing anything to, try to develop any charisma or persona to get yourself over. Because if you're boring in the ring just with your moves,
it doesn't matter what your character is. Yeah.
Because this is still wrestling, and these are people that enjoy wrestling versus storylines and gimmicks more than anything.
So I struggled to write down some notes here just because there wasn't a lot to mention. But LeRae did hit this neck breaker, and she's done this before where it's the opponent's through the ropes and she's on the apron, hits the neck breaker.
And then they end up like slamming the front of their neck into the top rope, which that's what sells it for me. And
then Tainara ends up back outside, and she does that running baseball slide / wrecking ball drop kick to the outside, and then jumps off of the middle rope from the apron into, it wasn't anything special, she just turned around, but it was kind of a crossbody. It was okay. Throws her back in the ring. What was after that? No, that was it. Tainara ends up tripping up LeRae when she goes up top for some move, and she lands neck first on the top turnbuckle. So this is where Tainara takes over, and she does that running knee into the ropes that I was talking about earlier, and she kind of works over Candice LeRae till just before the end of commercials, because we got that picture-in-picture, and Candice comes back She ends up hitting. She goes for a crucifix, but Tainara blocks it and then swings her all the way around into a power slam, but only gets a near fall. After that, Candice LeRae gets the upper hand again, hits that step-up senton that she does across the opponent's back, and then does her set-up moonsault, which she, again, is overshooting.
Yep.
For the 3 count. I mean, we figured Candice LeRae was winning here. Come on.
It's kind of depressing because Tainara actually is has a lot of potential to be something pretty great.
Yeah, work on your character. Wait for the next wave of rookies to come in for them to job to her. There you go.
Yep. I think that's what they're going to have to do. Or, I wouldn't mind seeing her team up with Dakota Kai as a new version of Team Kick.
That would be cool. Or she could join the group, team now with Vanessa Bourne and Aaliyah.
Well, Aaliyah's out for a while, so teaming her up with Vanessa Bourne would actually make a little bit of sense.
It would kind of. Speaking of teaming people up, these teams are already created, but in a couple of weeks' time at Worlds Collide, 1 month to the day, 1 month, 31 days, we are going to get Imperium versus Undisputed Era in an 8-man tag match. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, that's going to be great.
It's something we've been salivating over for, since the inception of Imperium. The second Alexander Wolf got added in, we're like, all right, we have 4-on-4 now.
So we get a video promo for Bianca Belair, and...
You completely skipped a match.
Oh, did I? Oh, no, we get a video promo for Arturo Ruas.
Yes.
They're calling him Destination Total.
Yep.
Total Destination.
No, I think it's Total Destruction.
Total Destruction. Destruction Total?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. That's me miswriting things. And almost forgetting his match.
Dijakovic versus Bronson Reed.
Yeah. Can't miss Dijakovic.
No.
We are back at the Barclays Center, though. And what I find interesting about that is they thought ahead of time to take
Beth Phoenix
off of the commentary at Full Sail. So all you had was Nigel McGuinness and Mauro Ranallo. And at SmackDown, you had Tom Phillips and Beth Phoenix. So they didn't want to have that incongruity, that inconsistency where it's like, oh, Beth's in Florida. Oh, now Beth's in New York. Oh, now Beth's in Florida. But they had the same ring announcer announcing the NXT talent at the SmackDown show as they have at Full Sail. And I'm like, that was really easy to fix because you have your own ring announcer for SmackDown.
Yeah.
What the fuck, guys? What the fuck? Anyway, I thought that was interesting. Dominic Dijakovic. I mean, we knew he was going to win.
Well, I was about to say, his entrance on the SmackDown set just looks so awesome. And I think one of the things is the for some reason, the Christmas trees. The Christmas trees helped it. It was just really weird.
Well, I knew Dominic was going to win. The question here was, could he hit the Feast Your Eyes on Bronson Reed?
Bronson Reed is a big, big man.
The answer is no.
And shame on you, SmackDown cameraman, for screwing up his entrance.
He was able to hit it on Keith Lee using the corner. Keith was sitting on the turnbuckle in the perfect position. They weren't going to replicate that just so he could hit it on Bronson Reed. Instead, the match ended with a choke bomb off the top rope, which is his choke slam into a sit out. And 1, 2, 3, Dominic gets the win. But in between that was an okay match. I was a little worried.
Yeah, well, at this point we realized that Dijakovic, that no matter who you put him in a ring with, is going to have a great match. And Bronson Reed is actually getting better, as the weeks go on, I believe. He's showing a little bit more of his moveset. He's actually showing... He's showing improvement. We'll give him that much. Because, when he first came out in the breakout tournament, he really didn't impress me too much. And now he's actually, getting more and more seasoned, getting to go against different opponents and everything. And I think his match with... God, what's that other dude's name from The Mighty? Shane Thorne.
Yeah.
His match with Shane Thorne was actually really good, too. So, him versus Dijakovic, I actually got pretty psyched over when they actually announced that we were going to be getting that match. I was like, this may actually prove to be interesting.
It was interesting. We saw Dijakovic hit the time to fly, which seemed impossible. After 4 tries, though.
He only like threw him about maybe 2 or 3 feet, but that's still 2 or 3 feet of Bronson Reed.
He got a near fall off that. He hits that discus big boot, got a near fall, went right up to the top rope, actually lands his moonsault for a near fall.
Okay, we're not going to just say he landed his moonsault and graze over that, okay? We basket over this moonsault because he nailed it flush.
Yeah, it was perfect.
It was a perfect moonsault. You don't see that out of people. You don't see that. You didn't see that out of Candace. You don't see it out of like really anybody anymore. And for a guy that's like 6'7", almost 300 pounds to do it perfectly,
amazing. And off the top rope, not the middle.
off the top rope.
Well, he goes for that choke slam towards the end of the match, but Reed catches his hand and starts headbutting Dominik Dijakovic's hand.
Yeah.
And apparently it works.
Yeah.
He fights off the choke slam briefly, but encounters. So he's up on the corner, and Dominik Dijakovic hits him with a super kick, which seats him on the top rope. And Dijakovic comes off the ropes. I don't know what he was going to do, maybe a big boot or something to try and knock him off, but instead Reed comes off the middle rope with a Thez bomb.
Yep.
And
nice
takes him
Thez
out.
press, just knocks him down.
That was his near fall. But then eventually Dominik Dijakovic catches him back on the top rope and goes for a choke bomb, which he successfully blocks off with the right hand, but then Dominik grabs him with the left hand, and that's when he hits the choke bomb. 1, 2, 3.
It was really weird because when we first saw Roderick Strong doing that challenge thing, I thought Dijakovic was going to be the person that faces him. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed Austin Theory, and I'm glad that Dijakovic got to wrestle tonight and got another win under his belt. That's more important than having a title loss to Roderick Strong, I think. One more win is actually just something more to propel him. And since we're beginning the Dusty Rhodes Classic relatively soon, I'm hoping it'll be Keith Lee and Dijakovic as a tag team.
We're hoping that that's where they finally become like the full-fledged tag team. They win the Dusty Classic, and then they get an opportunity at the Undisputed Era for the titles again.
That would be fantastic.
So, after the Bianca Belair promo, she comes out for a match, and she's facing Shotzi Blackheart, who is pretty fun.
But Shotzi Blackheart was great.
Oh, well, go ahead.
Well, she's already got a really cool presence to her. Like, I actually watched her get handed her contract by William Regal, like on a video on YouTube. So I knew she was coming into the company, but she goes toe to toe with Bianca Belair and shows that she needs to be there. She goes hold for her, like, just fantastic match.
I'm not a fan of the name. I like the last name, Blackheart. That's cool, but I'm not.
That's it. That's been her name for ages.
Don't care. Get rid of it.
Green hair, awesome.
Anyway, I've got a lot of notes here. Fucking, she hits a Hurricane Rana, running into the Hurricane Rana onto Belair, sending her into the middle rope, and then does an inverted cannonball, running off of the ropes onto Belair. But she gets her outside and goes for a wrecking ball drop kick, but Belair catches it, grabs her up, and ends up dropping her on the apron right before a commercial, works her over in the ring, and hits a cartwheel moonsault at some point during the commercial.
Yeah.
It was just awesome looking. That was by Belair. Shotzi hits a slingshot facebuster. They called it an inverted sling blade.
Sling blade, yeah.
But I would call it a sling blade facebuster. Comes around and then just plants her face down, and then hits a wheelbarrow bomb, shades of what's his name?
Williams.
Kenny Williams in NXT UK. Gets a near fall. Does a springboard DDT onto the apron on Belair, which was pretty cool looking. And then goes up top, and it looks like she was coming down for a stomp, but whatever it was, Belair rolls out of the way, and then sends her running into, or dodges a kick and sends her running into the corner, and then picks her up for the KOD.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. We knew Bianca Belair was going to win this. I mean, come on.
I actually at one point had the not really concern, but the thought that maybe she'll pull off the upset.
Well,
for
yeah,
her
you
first
thought
match.
she was taking enough punishment that maybe she'd pull it off at the end. But
Yeah.
that was not the case.
And that's it. That's how it's usually set up, and that's what I like about NXT. But it doesn't matter how big you were in your past company, how big your name was. If you're gonna lose, you're gonna lose. And if anything, this just gave people a glimpse of what to expect out of Shotzi Blackheart, and they should expect a lot.
Yep, that's what it was meant to do.
Mhm.
We are on to the main event. We are back in the Barclays Center. We've got Damian Priest and Tony Nese versus Lio Rush and Keith Lee. And considering the mishmash pairings of
The
these
odd
guys,
pairings.
I kind of thought this was going to be a man match, but it ended up being quite fun.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts before I break it down?
Well, there's a lot of comedy in it, naturally, because
Lio Rush, right?
Lio Rush and Keith Lee, they're both hilarious.
The
in
funniest
this
part of the
match.
whole match was Keith Lee.
Yeah, but Damian Priest and Tony Nese, they didn't really gel well as a tag team, but at the same time, you don't really need to if you got talent like those two. There wasn't really a lot of tag team maneuvers out of the two. And you barely got that out of Keith Lee and Lio Rush either, but they did work a little bit better as a team.
Yeah, they got the nice blind tags that you'll get out of a heel team.
Yeah, but either way, you had the we were talking about this before. You have the speed and athleticism out of Lio Rush, and you have Keith Lee, who's the total package in the whole thing. And you got Tony Nese, who's just a superlative athlete, and Damian Priest, who's been on a little bit of a roll. But at the same time, we're like, was he supposed to be becoming a face at this point, or is he just doing that for his match with Killian Dane? Who knows? But either way, I had a lot of fun with this match.
I had two favorite spots that were hilarious in this match. My first one is right before the commercial break. So you've got Lio Rush, who's not the legal man, gets up on the apron and starts throwing cookies at Tony Nese, who's not the legal man either. So this causes Tony Nese to chase Lio Rush all the way around the ring, and as soon as he gets to the announcer side, Keith Lee comes out from behind the steps and pounces his ass onto the table. Commercial time.
Even then, they gave each other a high five afterwards.
Let's see, at one point, Nese gets a blind tag and hangs Lee over the ropes and then hits a lion salt for a near fall. Priest catches Rush doing a suicida and then picks him up for a choke slam into the apron, which was an awesome spot, but not as cool as Keith Lee later. Anyway, my other favorite part, hilarious. So Priest throws Lio Rush back in the ring and he sets up in the corner. And as soon as he sets up in the corner, here comes Keith Lee back up. But this time he's got the Santa hat on. So we get the same visual we did a couple weeks ago.
With Finn Balor.
And he's just raising up in the corner. And then fucking Priest looks at him and he just grabs him, same thing, right in the chokehold. And then throws him over the top rope. Let's see. He ends up... I think he throws Nese into the barricade, and then Priest goes to do a tope con hilo, a front flip over the top rope, and fucking Keith Lee catches him.
Catches him upside down.
In basically a powerbomb position, and he uses him, throws him into Tony Nese, and then picks him up for a spirit bomb onto the apron, which is the hardest part of the ring, don't you know?
Yes, we get informed of this at least 3 or 4 times a show.
Throws Nese back in, hits him with the jackhammer. 1, 2, 3. Lio Rush and Keith Lee are victorious in the main event. Fun match.
Oh, yes.
Funny match. We had Lio Rush come out with the elf jacket on, so he's the elf. Keith Lee is the Santa. And just that spot. Just to know for a fact that they could redo it and come out with gold because now he's got the Santa hat on.
He actually nailed the final hour.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so it wasn't the jackhammer. So he hits the jackhammer, but then tags in Lio Rush.
Who's got a mouthful of cookies.
Mouthful of cookies that rejuvenated him, and he stands on Keith Lee's shoulder and hits the final hour, and he gets the pinfall.
Yeah.
So I apologize. So even more fun at the end of the match.
Yeah.
This was great.
Because he still, what I loved about that whole spot was he's still chewing the cookies after the 3 count.
That was funny.
I was like, damn, how hard were these cookies? Were like stale snickerdoodles? What the fuck were we eating?
So that brings us to the end of the main event and a fun-ass Christmas Day show of NXT. Wow.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. Well, here on the What's NXT, we like to rate the main event using the General's 5-star rating system.
Yep.
Out of 5 stars, Jerry, where do you rate tonight's main event?
I'm going to go ahead and say 3.5, but I'm going to give it an extra quarter for an awesome show, especially for one that was just taped, you know? We didn't walk into this with any spoilers. Hell, we only knew about 2 matches. I thought the 2 matches were just going to be the ones that got mentioned, and then we'll just get recaps of stuff, or just, the nominees again for the year-end awards. But we didn't get that. We got a whole night of wrestling, not just 4 matches or 5 matches.
6.
We got 6 matches.
Good matches.
And none of them were squashes.
Well, I mean, they kind of were, but they took long enough that you wouldn't really call them that.
You had your enhancement talent, more or less, but...
They weren't squashes, gotcha.
But that's why I gave it the extra quarter. But the match alone, yes, it was your standard tag team thing, and there wasn't really a lot of tag team work, but the competitors in the match made it awesome enough. And then just the action never really let up in the ring at all, even during, after he got back from commercial, or it's one of the only matches that they actually cut away to an actual commercial for.
Yeah, there was no picture-in-picture for that.
There was no picture-in-picture on this one. They actually cut away to a commercial. And we started discussing the Lay's commercial at one point, but then right as the match came back on, we were like, all right, okay, we're going to do this. But yes, I thoroughly enjoyed the match. Keith Lee never fails to impress, especially with the whole spot that him and Damian Priest did towards the beginning, where they just tried to exchange kicks, and it was just very fast-paced, going off the ropes and everything. So, yeah, Damian Priest didn't eat the pinfall in this one, so he didn't look bad. And Tony Nese actually got to be on television, so that's cool.
That's good for him, yeah.
Oh yeah, Leo Rush and Keith Lee. I wouldn't mind seeing them as a tag team again. It was actually very entertaining to watch the two. So yeah, I'm gonna give it just slightly above average, 3.5, but the 3.75 for the actual,
Well, I would call this a really good match. I wouldn't call it great, but I would definitely put it at the top of the spectrum for really good. So I'm going to start this at 3 3/4.
Yeah.
And I'm going to agree with you. Off the back of a great show, an unexpectedly great show.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it 4. But my problem is I don't have a problem with the main event being the only match in the 6-match card that didn't get picture-in-picture during the commercial. I think the reason was they went to commercial 4 minutes before the end of the broadcast.
Yeah.
Or what should have been the end of the broadcast at 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, they took a show that was taped that they could have edited down to 2 hours and made it overrun by 7 minutes.
Yeah.
For that, I'm giving them a sin. And I've been watching a lot of Cinema Sins. I apologize.
Ugh.
For that, they get a sin, and I'm bringing it back down to 3 3/4. So I'm going to agree with you at 3 3/4 stars for the main event.
Merry Christmas, NXT. You're average.
So that brings us to the end of this episode of What's NXT. Thank you for joining us. Please join us tomorrow for the NXT party, where we will be revealing the winners of our end of the year votes.
Yep, for
NXT
UK.
gets them, and we will cover those next week when they announce them. But NXT UK didn't, and so we thought we'd fill in the blank.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've got 6 polls out there. NXT male and female superstars of the year, the tag team of the year, the jobber of the year, the theme song of the year, and who gives the best promo of the year. We call it the promo of the year, but we didn't want to make people try and pinpoint one specific promo that was oh, that's the best. I'm yeah, name 5 that you can remember, right?
They're not very promo heavy in NXT or NXT UK.
So voting is still open for those. I will tally them up right before we do the show, so it's right down to the wire. But join us tomorrow for that. And if you'd like to help us review the show or reveal the winners, you can be up on the big screen. You can find me on nodq.com/Stefan. That's Stefan. Or if you just want to look me up on Twitter, it's at Stefan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. As always, the R stands for restricted. You can also find the gentleman on Twitter.
At General_JSJ. I had to make sure I got that right.
Yeah.
And my Facebook group, Armbar, all capital, ARMBAR.
Exclamation point.
The polls are there too. If you are actually already on the page and you want to go ahead and vote, go for it. Or if you want to find us there and cast your votes, you can do that too.
You can find us on Instagram now at aftermatch_wrestling. And you can find me at osborne.stefan. You can find Jerry too, but I don't know if he knows his tag.
Oh, the _gentleman_slaughter, I believe.
There you go. The Gentleman Slaughter. All underscores.
Yes.
You can also find me on Patreon now if you're in a position to help the channel at Stefan R. Osborne. And if you can't do it with Patreon, if you have a few seconds and you like the video, click the like button. That's over here underneath me. We'll give you a second. If you like all of our videos, do us a favor, click the subscribe button over there underneath Jerry. And if you want to know when our videos go live, click that bell. That'll let you know. But if you have a few other seconds and you want to help our channel grow, click that share button. Share us on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or anywhere that you have friends that might like watching wrestling. They might like watching us bullshit about a show. And again, if you want to help us bullshit about NXT UK, we'll be doing episode number 75, I believe. Tomorrow, I think we've got Colin?
I'm pretty sure. Well,
At least Colin, I think, for the show tomorrow. If you'd like to join him or just be up there by yourself, that's usually our rule. And be the first one, or the new member of the NX team. There you go. Newest member of the new year.
I'll say the last one of this year.
Yeah. It's up to you folks. And if you don't have social media, you can leave down in the comments an email or something and we'll get a hold of you.
Yeah.
All you need is Skype, watch the show. We're probably going to do it sometime tomorrow evening.
Yeah.
So join us, won't you? Join us, won't you? For the gentleman, Jerry Slaughter, I'm the Wizard of No DQ, Stefan Osborne. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you NXT time.